other star systems. And I mean, I won't be alive to see that, but unless I'm like frozen or something, I don't know. But I think at some point we will discover many civilizations that maybe lasted 1 million years, or 2 million years, or 10 million years. But a civilization that lasted 1 million years, which would be, vastly longer than our civilization has lasted. I mean, that's only the third decimal point, so like 13.8 billion something years. If your civilization lasts 1 million years, it's only goes, that third digit past the decimal point goes up 1, and that's 1 million years. So, I mean, I'd say, like, we should think of, like, how do we make civilization last 1 million years? We often get caught up in, like, the day-to-day things, but we want to have at least 1 million-year civilization, if not 100 million-year civilization, or 1 billion-year civilization. So, absolutely crucial to that goal is becoming a multi-planet species. People often ask why Mars. Well, there's not a lot of options, frankly. So, Venus is a superheated, high-pressure acid bath. So, not what you don't want to go to Venus. And then the Moon is close, but it doesn't have an atmosphere. The gravity is only 1/6 that of Earth, and it's missing a lot of key resources. So, also the insulating value of the Moon relative to Mars is much less. So if there's something that takes out Earth, like let's say there's a World War III, global thermonuclear warfare, they'll probably throw a few nukes at the Moon. So, whereas it's way harder to shoot Mars with nuclear, and Mars would see it coming and probably have some time to stop the inbound missiles. So the value of Mars, the difficult, or the distance and time required to get to Mars, actually has an insulating benefit for the continuation of consciousness, even if there's something terrible happens on Earth. And then once we go beyond Mars, there's some asteroids like Ceres, some of the moons of Jupiter. Starship would ultimately be capable of reaching anywhere in the solar system. And then we'll need something, a new level of technology to go to other star systems. But if we can't at least get to Mars, then other star systems are hopeless. I mean, it's a fixer-upper of a planet. Okay, it needs some work, but it is. It's really the only option for becoming multiplanetary. And long term, we can warm up Mars, and we can densify the atmosphere, and there'd be a liquid ocean on about 40% of the surface. So we could make it an Earth-like planet long term. So, let's see. We've learned a tremendous amount from when we started the company, and at first we were unable to get even a small rocket to orbit, to now where we've done 327 successful launches, almost 300 landings. In fact, give it a few weeks and we'll have done 300 landings. 261 reflights. So, many times I was told that reusability was impossible, and even if you did it, there would be no point, because nobody would want to fly rockets that much. But now we routinely fly and land the booster, and we recover the fairing. So we've learned a tremendous amount from the Falcon program that is then feeding into the Starship program. And Falcon and Starlink are what obviously keep the company going. So I'd just like to give a hand to the Falcon team for the incredible work that they're doing. And then Dragon. Wow, 45 launches of Dragon. It's amazing. And we've flown 50 crew members to orbit, 46 to the space station, and everyone has come home safely, which is the most important thing. So, incredible work by the Dragon team. So let's give them a hand. That was couldn't ask for a better outcome. And Starlink, actually, if you look at the sort of the plot of all the satellites going around Earth, it does look kind of scary, actually. But there's 6,000 satellites in operation, over 6,000, and 10,000 lasers, almost 3 million customers. So Starlink is doing a lot of good for people on Earth who either don't have internet access or it's very expensive, and so it's doing a lot of good, on Earth. Because when I say we want to be a multi-planet species, we obviously want Earth to be as good as possible, and Mars to be great. So Starlink is doing a tremendous amount of that, and we're learning a lot by having this big fleet. Starlink will also be very important for high bandwidth communication to and on Mars. So, from a tiny rocket to Falcon 9, which is a much bigger rocket, many iterations of Falcon 9, and then Falcon Heavy, and then Starship. And Starship will get bigger, obviously. This year, if things go according to plan, SpaceX will do probably 90% of all Earth mass to orbit. And then China will do about 6%, and the rest of the world will do about 4%, which is pretty wild. And then once Starship is flying, we'll be doing over 99% of all Earth mass to orbit, which you kind of have to do in order to build a city on Mars. And I should say we'll also build a lunar base as well, so it might as well along the way. So you can see that actually Falcon 1 was really, half a ton to orbit. So I think slight error on the slide there. So Falcon 1 was about half a ton to orbit. Falcon 9, depending on in expendable mode, would do probably 25 tons to orbit. Falcon Heavy, probably 70. Anyway, these are just obviously rapidly increasing numbers. And Starship in its final configuration or its final form will probably do well over 200 tons to orbit with full reusability, and be able to fly multiple times a day. So, and then there's recovering and reusing the ship. The ship will take longer. So the ship, I think we will want to have at least 2 consecutive successes of a given design that land at a specific point in the ocean or smash into a specific point of the ocean before we try to bring it back to the launch site, because we do not want to rain debris over Mexico or the U.S. So my guess is probably next year is when we will be able to reuse Starship. But I think it's highly likely that this year we will bring Starship to, or the ship side of it, to a controlled point in the ocean, and have it basically land on a virtual tower somewhere in the Pacific or the Indian Ocean. And we've already proven that we can do the final phase of landing, so coming from sort of a belly-first position to rotating the ship and landing vertically. We proved that right here. So we just need to be confident that we can get through the high heating portion of reentry reliably, and then we will bring the ship back and it will land on the tower as well. And we're going to build more Mechazillas. So there's going to be 2 launch towers